Hi and welcome back to my daily readings for the arts. If you haven't seen my previous videos, go have a watch. Also, I'm taking requests, so please let me know if there is anything you would like me to read. If you can donate, that would be absolutely incredible. If not, keep watching and share with anyone you think might enjoy these videos too. Today I'm going to be reading an extract from To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Macomb was an old town, but it was a tired old town when I first knew it. In rainy weather the streets turned to red slop, grass grew on the sidewalks, the courthouse sagged in the square. Somehow it was hotter then. A black dog suffered on a summer's day. Bony mules hitched to hoover carts flicked flies in the sweltering shade of the live oaks on the square. Men's stiff collars wilted by 9 in the morning. Ladies bathed before noon, after their 3 o'clock naps, and by nightfall were like soft tea cakes with frostings of sweat and sweet talcum. People moved slowly then. They ambled across the square, shuffled in and out of stores around it, took their time about everything. A day was 24 hours, but it seemed longer. There was no hurry, for there was nowhere to go. Nothing to buy and no money to buy it with. Nothing to see outside the boundaries of Macomb County. But it was a time of vague optimism for some people. Macomb County had recently been told that it had nothing to fear but fear itself. We lived on the main residential street in town, Atticus, Jem and I, plus Calpurnia, our cook. Jem and I found our father satisfactory. He played with us, read to us, and treated us with courteous detachment. Calpurnia was something else again. She was all angles and bones. She was nearsighted. She squinted. Her hand was wide as a bed slap and twice as hard. I meant to say wide as a bed slat. If a bed slap is a thing, I couldn't tell you what it is. She was always ordering me about the kitchen, asking me why I couldn't behave as well as Jem when she knew he was older, and calling me home when I wasn't ready to come. Our battles were epic and one-sided. Calpurnia always won, mainly because Atticus always took her side. She had been with us ever since Jem was born, and I felt her tyrannical presence as long as I could remember. Our mother died when I was 2. So I never felt her absence. She was a gram from Montgomery. Atticus met her when he was first elected to state legislature. He was middle-aged then. She was 15 years his junior. Jem was the product of their first year of marriage. 4 years later I was born, and 2 years later our mother died from a sudden heart attack. They said it ran in her family. I did not miss her, but I think Jem did. He remembered her clearly, and sometimes in the middle of a game he would sigh at length and then go off and play by himself behind the car house. When he was like that, I knew better than to bother him. When I was almost 6 and Jem nearly 7, our summertime boundaries, within calling distance of Calpurnia, were Mrs. Henry Lafayette Dubos's house, 2 doors to the north of us, and the Radley place, 3 doors to the south. We were never tempted to break them. The Radley place was inhabited by an unknown entity, the mere description of whom was enough to make us behave for days on end. Mrs. Dubose was plain hell. That was the Summer Dill came to us. Early one morning, as we were beginning our day's play in the backyard, Jem and I heard something next door in Miss Rachel Haverwood's collard patch. We went to the wire fence to see if there was a puppy Miss Rachel's rat terrier was expecting. Instead, we found someone sitting looking at us. Sitting down, he wasn't much higher than the collards. We stared at him until he spoke. "Hey." "Hey yourself," said Jem pleasantly. "I'm Charles Baker Harris," he said. "I can read." "So what?" I said. "I just thought you'd like to know I can read," You got anything that needs reading? I can do it. How old are you? Asked Jem. 4 and a half? Going on 7. Shoot, no wonder then, said Jem, jerking his thumb at me. Scout yonder's been reading ever since she was born and she ain't even started school yet. You look right puny for going on 7. I'm little, but I'm old, he said. Jem brushed his hair back to get a better look. Why don't you come over, Charles Baker Harris, he said. Lord, what a name. It's not any funnier than yours. Aunt Rachel said your name's Jeremy Atticus Finch. Jem scowled. I'm big enough to fit mine, he said. Your name's longer than you are. I bet it's a foot longer. Folks call me Dill, said Dill, struggling under the fence. Do better if you come over it instead of under it, I said. Where'd you come from? Dill was from Meridian, Mississippi. Was spending the summer with his aunt, Miss Rachel, and would be spending every summer in Macomb from now on. His family was from Macomb County originally. His mother worked for a photographer in Meridian, had entered his picture in a beautiful child contest and won $5. She owed the money to Dill, who went to the picture show 20 times on it. Don't have any picture shows here except Jesus ones in the courthouse sometimes, said Jem. Ever see anything good? Dill had seen Dracula, a revelation that moved Jem to eye him with the beginning of respect. Tell it to us, he said. Dill was a curiosity. He wore blue linen shorts that buttoned to his shirt. His hair was snow white and stuck to his head like duck fluff. He was a year my senior, but I towered over him. As he told us the tale, his blue eyes would lighten and darken. His laugh was sudden and happy. He habitually pulled at a cowlick at the centre of his forehead. When Dill reduced Dracula to dust, and Jem said the show sounded better than the book, I asked Dill where his father was. You ain't said anything about him. I haven't got one. Is he dead? No. Then if he's not dead, you've got one, haven't you? Dill blushed, and Jem told me to hush, a sure sign that Dill had been studied and found acceptable. Thereafter, the summer passed in routine contentment. Routine contentment was improving our tree house that rested between giant twin chinaberry trees in the backyard, fussing, running through our list of dramas based on the works of Oliver Optic, Victor Appleton and Edgar Rice Burroughs. In this matter, we were lucky to have Dill. He played the character parts formerly thrust upon me. The ape in Tarzan, Mr. Crabtree in The Rover Boys, Mr. Damon in Tom Swift. Thus, we came to know Dill as a pocket Merlin, whose head teemed with eccentric plans, strange longings and quaint fantasies. But by the end of August our repertoire was vapid from countless reproductions, and it was then that Dill gave us the idea of making Boo Radley come out. The Radley place fascinated Dill. In spite of our warnings and explanations, it drew him, as the moon draws in water, but drew him no nearer than the light pole on this corner, a safe distance from the Radley gate. There he would stand, his arm around the fat pole, staring and wondering. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Remember, I'm going to be doing these for all of the remaining days of August, so keep watching, keep sharing with people you think might enjoy them. That's all, folks.